Welcome to Story Time with Mrs. M. Today is Wednesday of our trip around the world for our Global Awareness and Travel Week. And because of that, the book I chose, it takes place in Alaska, so somewhere totally new. And the title is Wind Wild Dog. And it's Wednesday. That's why I chose it. I know, I'm silly. Anyways, so let's listen to this beautiful story written by Barbara Juice and illustrated by Kate Kiesler. All right, here we go. Wind Wild Dog. Beautiful picture. The night Ziva was born, the wind held its breath. Ziva's mother, a sled dog, licked her newborn pup, then nuzzled her softly. Ziva squirmed into the pile of pups and lapped and smacked at her mother's milk. Suddenly, the wind picked up. Wolves prowled against the moon. Ziva pointed her small, wet nose into the wind and sniffed. Weeks later, Ziva opened her puppy eyes. One eye was brown, the other blue. Two-color eyes spooked most mushers. They said it made a dog half wild. One by one, the mushers chose other pups. Never Ziva. Left alone, Ziva grew skittish. Sometimes when the moon came out, she heard wolves howl. Ziva dug at the dirt and threw her shoulders against the chain. She wanted to run. One day a man stopped at Ziva's kennel. He saw the wind wild dog and took a liking to her. The man calculated the end of Ziva's chain and sat there with his back to her. Ziva stood square and barked. The man didn't move. Ziva slunk forward, then grew shy and went back again. The man waited. Ziva sniffed the air around the man. Then she sniffed his back. The man offered her a biscuit. Ziva ate it, licking the crumbs from his hand. The man took Ziva home. The pack yapped and howled when they smelled a new dog. Ziva crouched against the man's leg and he patted her. That night, Ziva thought she saw the shadow of a wolf running across the moon. She pricked up her ears to hear the howl, but it didn't come. The figure turned, came closer still. It wasn't a wolf, it was a man. It was the man. He ran as if he were wild too. As Ziva curled up to sleep, she smelled the man on her fur. Weeks passed. Every morning, Ziva watched the man come through the square of yellow. He fed her first, then the rest of the pack. The man's food was regular, morning and night. His hand was gentle, never mean. Now when he came through the door, Ziva yapped until he set her free. Then she shadowed his boot steps and wanted to be close. At last, Ziva was ready for training. Slowly, gently, the man put a harness on her. At first, she flattened to the ground, but he talked to Ziva with a steady voice until she grew used to the harness. Then the man tied a log behind Ziva so she could feel the pull. Ziva bounded forward. Ziva was born to pull. Every muscle thrilled to the surge, the tug, the stretch. The man praised Ziva, and she licked his hand eagerly. Still, sometimes at night when the wind carried the song of the wolves, Ziva wanted to run wild. She tore at the snow to get away, but the chain held her back. Those mornings the man saw the mounded snow and understood. A day would come when Ziva would have to choose. Would she stay or go? Now it was winter solstice in Alaska. Daylight was short. The wind blew across the snow, whispering, "This is the day." Ziva was new to a sled, so the man paired her with a skookum dog in front of the wheel dogs, where she would be close to him. The team went crazy as the man hitched them up. They couldn't wait to run. The dogs leaned into the wind, lapped the cold, and cocked their ears back to hear the man. "Yee! Ha! On by!" he called softly, and the dogs did it. They moved as a team, the lead dog, two swing dogs, Ziva and the skookum dog, two wheel dogs, and the man. The team ran till long shadows scraped the snow. The sun set against their backs. Now it was stone bone cold. When it was time for the sea wash, the man built a fire and the dogs settled into the snow around it. The man watched Ziva turn away from the fire and face the moon, and he knew. The wind howled, "This is." A wolf called, "This is." Ziva called back, "This is the night." She dug at the snow, threw her shoulders against the chain, but there was no chain. There was nothing to hold her back. Ziva tore into the night. She ran and ran and ran as if she would never stop. One hill, another, another, over the snow, over the ice. Ziva had run a long way, and now she was hungry. When she spied a rabbit, her stomach roared like a hungry bear. The rabbit froze and twitched its ears. Ziva bounded after the rabbit. She was fast, but the rabbit was faster. Now Ziva rested. The moon made dark shadows on the snow. The wind cried between the pine trees. "Oh, oh." Ziva cocked her ears. Was it the wind, or was it a wolf? Oh. There, large against the moon, a wolf. Ziva slunk toward the wolf. The wolf stepped forward. Slowly, slowly, Ziva and the wolf approached, until at last they stood together. Cautiously they sniffed each other. The wolf smelled wild like the wind. Ziva sniffed her own fur. She smelled like the wind too. But there was something else. She also smelled like the man. The man's smell was her smell now. Ziva's heart pulled. The man! She missed the man and his gentle hand. Ziva worked the trail for his praise. She shadowed his bootsteps. She wanted to be close. Ziva turned away from the wolf and ran. She ran and ran. The man heard her before he saw her. He squinted through the spinning snow, and there she was. Ziva! Tears stung at the man's eyes. So much did he love the wind wild dog. So much did he want her to stay with him. He knelt in the snow and held out his hand to her. Ziva paused, then ran toward him. The man patted her rough and bear-hugged her. Ziva licked the man's face, his ears between the fingers of his hands. Then she curled up and settled down beside him, pointing her nose into the wind. The end. The book ends with a glossary of sorts. Even though this is a fiction book, it still has a non-fiction text feature with a glossary, which I thought was great. It gave us some of the mushing words that were used, and then also gave us some of the Native American words, like Siwash. I looked it up. It's from the Chinook, from the Pacific Northwest. So I thought this was interesting and made the book a little more accessible. And I like how they incorporated the language of the people so casually. It's just wonderful when you see cultures come together in such a nice way. All right. Bye, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow for Thursday.